Welcome to BizTalk presented by the South Windsor Chamber of Commerce. Today's episode is sponsored by Crystal Financial Insurance Services, providing insurance and educational services to individuals, families, and businesses across Connecticut. To learn more, check out www.crystalfinancialinsurance.com. Hosting today's episode from the South Windsor Chamber of Commerce, I'm Basanth with Jennifer Lovett. Today we have Basanth Marigoder, the co-founder and CEO of Robo Warriors, doing business as Code Ninjas in Manchester. Passionate to work with kids, he strongly believes that coding is a literacy of the 21st century. Anil Kumar, who's also the co-founder of Robo Warriors, has had experience as a senior research and development engineer. He enjoys teaching, music, and sports in his free time. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you, Basanth, and thank you, Jen, for having with us.
Well, we're glad to have you here today. Can you tell us a little bit about Code Ninjas and what your connection is to South Windsor?
Absolutely. Jen, Code Ninjas was an idea out of dream that we really wanted to have something for other kids in our community. Initially, 2 years back when we were planning to see what the technology leads towards it. We were all the technology guys. I myself have a master's in computers and have been 20 years working in the industry. There was always a need and there was always a interest that we saw in a community where the kids really wanted to do something with robotics, programming and stuff. But we never had anything which was more structured where it could really help them out. And when we were looking into an opportunity to say, what is the best way to bring up our community and our kids to see what we could expose them to the latest technology, Code Ninja became one of the means as a franchisee that we wanted to bring it out. So I, being a resident of South Windsor, with all the activities that we do here for the kids, this was one area we always thought, there was something that was not where we could send our kids to. And Code Ninja became one project that we wanted to serve as a community, and that's where we have Code Ninja today. And we are happy to say that it's been 2 years, and we have amazing kids that have been here with our center, and learning a lot of programming, robotics, programming drones, which is seeing the future world like how you showed in Disney.
Oh, thank you. For those of us like myself without much of an IT background, what is coding and how is it used?
Perfect. So it's essential or non-essential when you really look into it, part of it, right? So coding is something that we are just making a machine to understand the language that we speak. Right. So coding is as simple as I could say that, we are both are conversing in a common language, which is English. And what we really wanted to do was to get a language where our machines could understand. And programming or coding became a means of how do we really communicate with a computer, right? So now the point is either we are talking to the computer in terms of saying that, how the computer has to respond back to us, or how do we really use it, right? In our day-to-day, if you're really seen, irrespective of the profession that we are in, there is somewhere or the other we always keep using it, right? Say, example, our cell phones. Either it could be a television that we are looking at, the Netflix that comes into our house today. Or even when we go back to any example, say like Basanth as a doctor, when you really get into it, there's so much of things that are there, even for your billing activities, for your regular analysis that needs to be done, right? So coding is very simple to start looking into it as, and at the same time, what I feel is that, and it's easy to learn language. It's as good as we are learning an English or a Spanish or a regular conversation.
Thank you.
Got it. One of the things that you had shared, which I thought was fascinating, is that if we look at occupations and growth between 2011 and 2019, in terms of fastest growing occupations, programmers and software developers are on the top, right? And then, I think as a doctor, there's also a huge growing field of health informatics and data, and it's such a big part. Why do you think, why are we seeing such big growth in programmers and software developers? And as a business owner, Jen, myself, why should business owners like us care?
It's what I put it as, it's like a more revolutions the way we are seeing in the past, right? Say example, you have seen an industrial revolution, a surge where there was a lot of new things were coming up. Example, just let's take a thing back of like say 100 years, right? We are talking about steel became a major prominent area. And then automobile industry grew to the point where everybody wanted to be an automobile, like, the automobile engineers, somebody wanted to be a mechanical engineers. And there was a lot of search that was happening. As you see the past 50 years, the industrial revolution, which we started talking about before, now it has become a digital revolution, right? We see things that how the technology has progressed in the past 20, 30 years. Today, one starting as a software, something that was required for only elite, say IBM, say Microsoft. Now, eventually the people started realizing it's not that, it became a means of every other business today, irrespective of to which industry that you belong to, right? Example, IT is not only just as say how the IBMs or how the Microsoft fared, but we started realizing that, and that became a day in and day out usage of it. Either it could be in medical field, either it could be in insurance field, either it's in the banking field, and any field that you really see, that became a part of your day in and day out of profession, right? So as a business owner, if you're really looking into it, today, if you just look around your own business, whatever you do, there is a billing system that comes along with that, even if you want. If you want to communicate today, the major Facebook that you're really talking about is a software. A Twitter is a software. A Netflix is a software. A digital way we really edit our, either the videos, the marketing that we do is all on the software devices. So software eventually is today and eventually becomes a part of our life, and it's not an outside entity, right? So now what I always say is, either we learn to write a program or we are end users or a consumer of the technology, right? It's not necessary that we need to have everybody learn a programming, but at the end of the day, it's always good to know what you're trying to do, even if it is on a business, right? Example, we all run our businesses. It's always nice to know. Example, we all hire an accountant, right? We all have our CPAs. But at the same time, it's our money that they are working on. But at the same time, having a knowledge on that will help you to have a right conversation, help you in your business to fulfill more activities is what we really feel.
Yeah, one of the things that's interesting is artificial intelligence, right? And there's so many new products. I recently just learned about a product that myself and a patient could be having a conversation, and this software will listen in and take all the content and create the medical note. And I think there's like that, every industry has sort of up and coming. What are the big things that you think as business owners, obviously COVID has changed a lot of things, but what are the things that we should pay attention to that are sort of on the forefront, or that you think are going to drastically change the way business happens?
What I say is, Vasanth, it's a technology again, right? I can just say two things that you really brought up, how it's going to change and with the current COVID situation. So I keep talking about when it comes to the COVID situation, just imagine a COVID situation of 50 years back, right? We would have rushed to a bank just to withdraw money so you can make a transaction, right? So we would have rushed into a grocery store every time for every small things that you really wanted to buy. And any communication, transportation that would have been happened would have been just a huge chaos in terms of just communication over our telephone. Today, even if you really see that, we sit at home, we say that, it's a quarantine. You have your Netflix coming in. You have a bank system on your fingertips today. You can pay all your bills on your fingertips today through an internet, right? So your day in and day out, if you really see, your business has not impacted unless otherwise it's a hardcore physical business that we're really trying to do. And again, it wasn't the one thing that you mentioned today, communicating with your patients, having that conversation today, which is coming up, right? The Zoom that we're using today in terms of technology. So what I see is technology has helped the people start thinking to do a business differently from how it was in the past, right? Second thing is, it has also given an opportunity for us to see how do we optimize and how do we work efficiently the way differently than how it used to happen in the past, right? So where we used to drive for a lot of work, today we are no more driving. Today, if you really see a downtown New York City or a downtown Chicago, the dynamics have changed a lot. And what I say is, this is what the digital technology revolutions are. The people are feeling more safer. People are feeling more better sitting at home and doing it. And at the same time, they are contributing to make sure that we flatten the curve of COVID today.
Yeah, just to add a point to that, Basanth point, I think uh, uh, we are all moving towards this digital revolution, right? I think everything is virtual now. Most of the things we are going virtual. And also they say by 2023, 87% of all our home appliances will be digitally controlled. It's already there, but 87%, that's a huge percentage, right? And also like we are talking about this artificial intelligence. You guys have already seen like we have driverless cars on the road, right? So I mean, the technology is going so fast towards this digital revolution. I think that's a right way because it is cutting down all our manual touch points over there, and also like helps in minimizing the cost for the customers and also the people, right? That really helps in taking this digital path so that we can go ahead and then solve all our problems and whatever it is, irrespective of the COVID or any other problem in the industries or medical industries or commercial, anything. I think a digital thing play a big role to come up with the new things.
You guys had mentioned a lot of the large businesses. What about the small businesses? Should they be investing in internal development of IT resources through training programs?
I think it is important, right? See, whether the size of the business is one aspect of it, and the technology adoption is another aspect of it, right? Big or small. If you really see the media today, right? So there are some common practices that we all do, but the size and the volume could be different. Example, in terms of marketing, it's all digital marketing today, whether big or small, we try to do the same thing. Billing, we try to do the same thing, right? Either we do a customer servicing or the other activities that we do. And we always want to be technologically involved so that we know where is the trend that is working towards it. Now, what does that mean? Do we need to have a staff that needs to be trained? Absolutely. Right? It's as good as, hey, we had a bar phone and we got into a flip phone. Today, we are all on a smartphone, right? It's just the usage aspects of it, right? If you really see. And that is what we always call it as, like, beyond the technology, which always helps you to know things better, right? Again, the thing is that there is a skepticality always to say that, hey, what happens, right? And there's a lot of new securities and things that are being put in place. And this is where the industry is moving today, and having them training, giving them that knowledge will always help. And this is not only for the businesses that we're talking about from the small business to large business, and the training not only just for our staff, but we also feel that, the generations, our school kids, our kids who are, it's always better and it's always good to have them so much skilled in that area. Right? And today you are seeing, we all have kids, and the kids who have there, they are more technology savvy than anybody else would have really seen. There are a lot of times I ask my son saying that, how did you do this? And he says, you have a 20 years of experience, Dad, but technology is different, right? Either it could be a quick cell phone that you can use it, and probably you'll all see that, the kids can make it so faster than what you could really look into it today. I think, training is key part. And it's always like, what I say is then educating ourselves. And I always call it as like, the neck up learning. We always feed ourselves in eating and doing a lot many things on the neck down, but feeding our brains, either it's in reading a good book or reading it about anything, but technology is just more as a usage part of it. It's always good to do.
So if we were to, if you had, for our listeners and business owners, viewing and listening into this today, in 30 seconds, if you had to sort of summarize, what should I take away from our conversation? What would that be?
I say, as in my introduction that you had mentioned, that, technology is the new literacy, right? So in that way, irrespective of the age, irrespective of the business size that we're really doing, it's always good to be part of it and learn about it. And second thing that I just always wanted to mention is bringing up the next generation, the kids, knowing the technology, growing with the technology at the same time. Either they're going to be the end users, believe it or not, either we are part of it or not part of it, the way the industry is moving, where the world is moving, it is going to be the technology tomorrow, right? And that being part of it and how you want to be part of it, either it could be a contributor, an end user, or you could own. And the new next level of business owners will be the person who will be related to some or the other technology aspects of it. Irrespective of the businesses that we do, we will own some of the technologies to drive through is what I feel.
Those are very good points. So thank you both for joining us today.
I really appreciate it,
Thank
Vasan
you.
and Jen. Thanks a lot for giving this opportunity. We are glad having us. Thank you.
Awesome. And to our
Thank you,
viewers
Jen.
and listeners, thank you for joining us on today's episode of BizTalk, sponsored by Crystal Financial Insurance Services and hosted by the South Windsor Chamber of Commerce. Have a great day. And to make an appointment with Crystal Financial Insurance, call the office now, 860-436-9522, or check out their website, www.crystalfinancialinsurance.com. Have a wonderful day, everyone. All right.